Good evening, Mallory.
Good morning, Sam.
Welcome back to Nobody Leaves Podcast, where we force each other to watch really funny movies because we're nice friends and we all love each other very much.
Yeah, and I didn't make a plan to have a completely other podcast and completely abandon you.
I would never go to an open mic and podcast with someone else. That would just be a betrayal of everything that Nirvana the band stands for. We're looking this week at Nirvana the band, the show, the movie.
One baby to another says, I'm lucky to have met you. I don't care what you do unless it is everything about me. Sam, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, a phenomenal movie that you have pitched to me this week. I was really excited to watch this based on the title, and I was not disappointed based on the content. I really enjoyed this flick, and I'm ready to dive into every single aspect of it because it was a lot of fun.
Let me set the scene a little bit here. So this is a movie, right, about a web series that is pretty obscure. I've kind of heard about it over the last, 15 years, but like in little snippets and starts. There's a streamer I like, Andy Cortez, who brings it up constantly and is always like going to bat for it. I've seen Updates Day, which is like their big viral video about jamming over the Wii Shop music theme. But then this trailer started showing up in movie theaters for Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, it kind of wormed its way into my brain, and it got me curious because the delivery is really funny, and just like Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll instantly have this like chemistry that I think you and I aspire to have. One day we'll be friends for real.
Yeah, I mean, like, if that intro was anything to go off of, there was really not a lot of stuttering and pausing. So I think we also kind of have that comedic back and forth that only people with as long of a history as us could possibly have.
Yeah, we didn't know each other in the mid 2000s. Obviously, we haven't had time to build up that rapport. We've only known each other for like 15 years, but we're getting there.
We just got to catch up. We just need to catch up, So that's what we're doing here.
The real secret
Sam,
is to build in the pauses purposefully, and that's what we've been doing this entire podcast. Is like every awkward stutter or pause or audio issue is just like flavor for the Nobody Leaves podcast experience.
Yeah, it's to keep you. It's like a roller coaster. You got to feel the goosebumps as you're kind of going up the ride before you drop. You got to feel that kind of tension of like who's gonna speak next. Is the lag and latency on this internet call across the world really that bad?
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad sometimes. Sam, I am glad that you are starting with addressing the parallels between this movie and our little project here, because I think that is one of the immediate draws of the movie to me. I think it is like the perfect encapsulation of that experience of trying to make something work and having the big ideas. I'm a big fan of like movies and media in this genre. I always talk about Bottle Rocket by Wes Anderson with the Wilsons. I really love, and I think that one of the things that I liked that this movie nailed so much is sometimes you will have like a duo like this where it's like, oh, they're trying to make it big, they're trying to make their band big, or they're trying to like.
Mm-hmm.
Make their comedy duo big or whatever it is, but they're always failing, they're always hard on their luck, and they get into silly shenanigans because they're just not good. And a lot of times that kind of thing, it'll be like the guy just doesn't have the sauce, he just doesn't have it, like he's not a natural.
You're saying as a plot point the guy does not have the sauce,
right? Yeah, right. It's like it's this constant thing that comes up, and the universe keeps proving to this guy that no matter the circumstances, he does not have the sauce to like pull it off. I think that they really nailed, like, you instantly understand why Matt, who is playing a fictionalized version of himself, right? It's Matt Johnson.
Matt Johnson is his real name, but he's playing Matt Johnson, a dumb guy, even though he's kind of a dumb guy in real life, but also really talented and like a director and stuff. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, so Matt, the character, is like, you immediately have this sense of, rather than just do the thing that
Hmm.
he wants, is just like every way to avoid like actually writing something good. Like, it's just all about theatrics. It's all about, like, the
A
no
plan.
no thought to, so like, we just need to get in there, and then once we get in there, they'll recognize our talent without like putting a second towards like, what is my talent? Should I hone my talent? Like, anything like that. We just got to get on the list, and
Should we
like,
write a song maybe? Like ever?
yeah,
Should we?
to to
Yeah.
to try so hard to get, and like, to also have such an observed goal of like, our whole thing is that we have to get a show at this one venue. So we're going to do things that are way bigger. Like, we're going to get into the Super Bowl, which is the most televised event, so that we can get into a music venue. Like,
It's not the
just
Super Bowl,
that
but sure.
that it wasn't the Super Bowl.
No. Mallory, they're in Canada.
I know. I was actually confused about that. If I'm being 100% honest, I was
They're
like,
in
why are they?
Toronto.
Why is? I was no. I got that. I was like, why is the Super Bowl in Toronto this whole time? That's why I was confused.
Do you think that the Super Bowl only is played in like venues that have giant domes, and that the giant dome is like moved around the North America? Like, is that what you
Sam,
think?
you are so confused about why I'm confused. I'm just like, why is the Super Bowl in Toronto?
It wasn't the
Because
Super
I
Bowl.
swear they said the Super Bowl.
No.
What could they possibly be
They say the
interrupting?
dome for like the stadium that they're jumping into, but no, they're just going to like interrupt like a Blue Jays game in Toronto.
Is the Blue Jays football?
No, it's
It's a
baseball.
green field.
Baseball's played
Surely.
on a green field.
Oh, wait, the Blue Jays are baseball.
Yeah.
Dude, and this is why I love cultural exchange, man.
Canada
We're
doesn't
learning
play
so much about.
football. What are you like?
We're
What are we
learning
talking
so much.
about here?
I didn't think they played football, so I was confused why there's a football stadium this whole time. I was like, wow, I guess the like domes in the US were too expensive, so that they had to play the Super Bowl
Okay,
in
well here's the
Toronto.
plan. So we're gonna bring football to Canada, and then the Super Bowl is gonna come to Toronto, and then we're gonna skydive into the field, and to all our new Canadian football fans, we're gonna tell them we are Nirvana the band, the show, Nirvana the
And
band,
we have a show at
and we
the
have a
Rivoli
show at the Rivoli.
tonight, which is
Exactly.
which is also
Um,
really good. And then being so gutted when they see people holding instruments walking into the venue,
who
just
also
going,
look to be like the same
lucky.
size of an act as they are. Like there's no difficulty to get a show with that. We're explaining the bit, but the bit is
Yeah, but
putting
it's
all of your effort into something
mhm.
that's honestly not that hard to do and still failing, but being
I
charming along
it's
the way.
explaining the bit in a way that is like, just to, I think, to me, like, emphasize the fundamental understanding they have of what the problem is, and where
Mm-hmm.
they're able to continuously mine comedy from, in a way that, like, sometimes I try to think of, I wish I could think of like a really potent example. I think about a good one is, have you ever seen Arrested Development, or like any of
Yes.
it? I haven't watched a lot of it, but there's a character Job, who's like the magician
This is
brother,
very Joe
and
Bluth coded. Yes.
yeah, and like his whole bit is that, magic is lame, and he's kind of being lame or whatever. I feel like that, and not to condemn Arrested Development specifically, because I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
enough of it to be able to definitively be like, this is what this is. But it feels kind of like, oh, like, magic is weak, magic doesn't have the sauce, this is a lame thing that you're doing, and that's why. And if you could just be cool and have charisma and have the
Mm-hmm.
juice, then you'd be able to figure it out. And it's this like, kind of ethereal, mystical thing that's like not really able to be quantified. Versus
Mm-hmm.
Nirvana the band, the show, it's like very quantified. Like, this is the very specific reason why you're gonna keep failing and keep pushing the Sisyphean boulder up the hill or whatever. Like, you will never succeed, obviously, because you're just so, you
You're too
know,
whiteboard. You're whiteboard coded. You just can't. You can't get around your schemes and
yes,
ideas, and the need to continuously riff and reiterate and rethink plans that start somewhat simple, like we're gonna break into the Toronto Super Bowl and announce ourselves as a band. But then what do we do about what if people are blind? Like we have to explain that we dove in to the Blue Jays game, and we have to re-clarify, and we're thinking about such a weird like minor part like
Yeah.
problem in the plan and not considering that the entire plan is batshit insane. Like we're like obviously we're gonna break into the tower and we're gonna, parachute in and that's all gonna go fine. But then what about the blind people? They won't know that we did this stunt. So we have to explain that.
Yeah, no, those bits are also really good, and the continuing thing of him just kind of rambling and getting off on tangents, and
Mm.
Jay like redirecting him. All of that is like really good stuff. Really good fundamental comedy. A really good and well structured as like a movie. I think
Mm.
the callbacks, everything in the plot being tight, the random things that they're bringing up, like actually being relevant and stuff like that.
Yes, it goes on little like sub adventures and diatribes or whatever, but then they usually tie back in. Mostly because at the end of the day,
Yes.
it's like a big Back to the Future parody.
Right.
Uh, we've kind of buried the lead here. This band that is not really a band, that is Jay McCarroll and Matt Johnson. They want to get into this club, right? And they have these plans, and the plans never work out. And then they accidentally send themselves back in time in an RV, and they go back to the long ago land of 2008, and then they do a Back to the Future, and that's the movie.
Yes. Yeah, they do the lightning striking the clock tower thing, except it's
Yes.
the CN tower or whatever. Really, really good stuff. Um, I think that the time related jokes, like the timeliness jokes, the
Hmm.
Apple iPods, like Welcome to 2008 thing, referencing the Black Eyed Peas, Let's Get It Started, playing like loudly on a tour bus.
A Jared Fogle like got milk ad just like riding by, and it's like, oh no,
The Bill
we
Cosby
didn't know,
one.
Mallory.
The Bill Cosby one being like the first thing, and then them like looking like, oh, someone else is playing the venue
Yes,
already, and it's Adele. It's really good. Lot of good stuff.
yes.
That they keep mining in that part. And then yeah, my other major good point is just gonna be the Smash Zooms. Smash Zooms are so funny. They're not used enough. They're extremely hilarious. There's one time where he's like running and he's like he has to rush to get somewhere for whatever reason,
Hmm.
and he encounters a raccoon, and it just smash zooms on the raccoon like right as the music peaks. And
Yes.
nothing. It doesn't lead to a raccoon chase. It doesn't lead to anything.
No.
It's just like he has to avoid a raccoon while
Well,
he's like running through the street
it's
because
a
it's
great
real.
example, right? Because it's real,
Yeah.
right? They're filming like just on the streets of Toronto with no plan. I mean, obviously they have a script that they're trying to
Right.
follow, but they're another aspect of this movie is that, and also the original show is that they incorporate real people who are not actors who don't know what they're doing
Mm.
into the script, and then have to kind of like write around it in a very like Nathan for You or like YouTube prankster kind of like
I
way of like
think I think Borat and Mega
yes,
64 were the things that were really like top of mind for me while I was watching it.
yes. Mega 64, great comp. They've also collaborated with Mega 64 before, which is fun.
Oh, really?
Which is one of the only I've not seen much of the rest of their stuff other than like interviews with Matt Johnson, but I did watch they did a little special. They did like a they were going to record the announcements for like a Mega 64 convention. And
Oh,
similarly to the like, well, what do we do if they're blind? They won't know that we skydove into the Blue Jays game. They start coming up with all these different scenarios. Like, if you have a bomb, you must return it into the front desk, and please don't do that. And like all these things you can't do, and they just riff for like 5 minutes, and it's really funny. They're very good at
that's good.
it's that fine line of like, is this scripted? Because I feel like there's a tendency to undervalue this kind of filmmaking and this kind of writing style to be like, oh, well, they're just like riffing and making shit up. But you know that like at least a part of it has to be scripted because they know where they're trying to like steer things to while also mining comedy out of random passerbys, while also probably, I assume, trying not to like be mean, because this can really easily turn into like a Logan Paul-esque, like we're gonna go harass people on the streets of the city
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, there's a line to walk, but they seem like generally pretty respectful towards any of the people they're interacting with. But yeah, I think I don't know, it's such a well constructed thing. I think
Mm-hmm.
something that's really good is like the emotional arcs are really solid. Like when I was speaking about the structure, like it's too easy to understand characters, and they're kind of like flipping back and forth between, like one of them's trying to leave and one of them's trying to keep the band together, and then a
Right.
revelation happens, they flip, and another revelation happens, they flip again.
Right.
um and just kind of keeping these like arcs really consistent, I think, like helps them stay in character and constantly be like, you know all the interactions that are happening are like tying back to their emotional state, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Well, and
when
because
he
they
sees a raccoon, he knows like I'm in a mindset that I'm in a very desperate thing that I need to get to a certain place on time.
I'm playing,
So yeah.
freaking out Matt Johnson, not cool, calm, and collected Matt Johnson that I usually play. I'm playing frantic. I have to get from A to B in the least efficient way possible, Matt Johnson.
Yeah, no, totally. But like, if they had ran into a raccoon during like a scene where they're walking down the street pitching ideas, like he'd definitely be like,
Right.
"What if we incorporate raccoons?" And they would have been wearing raccoon suits in the next scene, probably. I don't know. Very, very cool stuff. So, yeah, gush about this. Um, I will say that like, what is your thought? Okay,
Hit
wee
me.
woo wee woo wee. We're calling him in. Wee woo wee woo wee woo. We're calling them in. It's the woke police.
Was
Okay,
I supposed to
we
say woke
gotta.
police, or is that the pause?
No, I accidentally hit the table. Okay, I was gonna cut it out
You're
so
gonna
that
edit
I'd
out
read
where you
it.
hit the where you bang the table. That's what you're gonna edit
Okay,
out.
well, okay, so well, welcome to the woke police. So the woke police is where the woke police come in and we ruin
Sorry, I
all
hit
of
my
the
table.
fun.
You want to do it? You want to do it a third time? What people
We
don't know
almost
is that
got
we're
it.
not friends in real life, and I'm just
We
like
almost got.
I'm in the next room and I'm like shooting daggers at you currently. Like that's the actual reality. This has all been a metafiction the entire time.
Sam shoots me with an airsoft gun the next time that I try to do.
Or a real gun.
Or a real gun. Yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on like the whole candid camera like public thing. I feel like it was very popular when we were growing up. I
Yes.
was a huge fan of Borat as a kid.
Very nice.
Mega
Short.
64 videos I watched a lot. Borat obviously has a whole other litany of whatever controversies, but like
Sure.
in terms of like the Mega 64s of it, that kind of thing. I'm glad you brought up Logan Paul, because I think that was
Hmm.
honestly a catalyst for me kind of like 180 my feelings a little bit on it, or kind of I think it was a splash of water in my face to be like,
Right.
ooh, I really don't like this, but I do think it's contextual. I don't know. I don't have like absolute feelings like you should never do this or whatever, but I'm definitely a lot more trepidatious with this kind of thing now.
I think it comes down to like, do I trust the creative, like, is it funny or not? Or is it like well thought out or not? Like,
mm,
I get the sense, just because I enjoy this movie and I enjoy what I've seen of Nirvana the band, that like these guys are probably fine, and they're probably, it's not done in a mean-spirited way. Like, obviously this seems to be a huge love letter to Canada and Toronto, right? So it feels like it's a
yes.
celebration of the people of Toronto, not necessarily
Mm,
like a mocking of them. That being said, I wasn't there. I don't know if people were like scared as they're going like, "Oh, we're about to throw something off the tower," or they're telling people,
yeah.
"I'm about to jump off this tower." Um,
It's really that. See, I think those were like the few ones where it was like, um, and I guess there's the part with the employee of the place where they're asking like probably Home Depot equivalent. I don't think it was actually Home Depot, but
Yes,
they're
where they're
trying to get the
with the guy who's
flyers.
a libertarian or whatever.
And they're like arguing with him about like whether they can cut a harness with these pliers or not. Um, I like they're more like on the prank phone call side of things as
Hmm.
opposed to the the interactions where he's just talking to the Brazilian woman who's like sitting there cross-legged on the side of the thing, or he's
Hmm.
like the girl's helping him.
That's my
She
favorite
seems
one.
kind of drunk because she's like laughing so much, and he's just being like, my whole life depends on this, man, you're
That's easily my
laughing.
favorite one, where you could see him
Yeah.
laughing at her reactions to him holding this electric cord that's like going off into space. I don't know how they
It is
actually did that
extremely funny. It
bit.
is extremely funny
He just
situation.
goes, "You're laughing. My entire life is riding on this." But you
It's
could
in
see
the
him
climax of
cracking
the
up.
movie.
That it
It
feels not mean spirited, so to me it's
Yeah,
fine. I agree with you that like when I first saw this style of filmmaking, it was probably Jackass or something like it.
right.
It's like this is the funniest thing I've ever seen, and then the internet kind of ruined it for like a decade plus. Where like it's not the kind of
Mm,
content I ever watched, but I would just see like a random clip taken not out of context, taken in context of someone getting arrested or harassing people or getting into some kind of internet muckety muck, like a Phil DeFranco clip being like him going like, "Look at this people who are committing crimes or whatever," and that is a bummer because yeah, I think
yeah.
people, as they often do, take things too far. I am often disturbed by like what is it called, IRL streams. IRL streams kind of creep me out just
Mm,
because there's like so much that can go wrong there, either by like the streamer
mm,
themselves or the streamer's fans. Like I'm always worried that someone's going to get
yeah.
attacked or whatever. Like that stress is a bummer, but it is what it is, and that enough. It's gone wrong enough times that I'm always like leery of it.
Yeah.
But if it's charming enough and if it seems to be not mean spirited enough, I can kind of push through. And for me, this I think really pushes through.
Mm. Yeah, I think that I'm definitely like, yeah, this is not like coming down on this as like a huge criticism of like this would probably be far to the side. Like, cause even when I think like Mega 64, so I think like
Hmm.
Mega 64 and like especially like the earlier stuff and
Hmm.
like Borat even more so, like it comes closer to like yelling fire in a crowded theater type of feeling
A
that
little, especially the
then
earlier stuff.
at
Yeah.
the worst. But like I think that like this, like the worst it ever gets is like, yeah, drop it whenever. Hilarious. But
And then
I
that's I assume that's a special effect of yeah the cables like dropping down like they have a
for
cherry
sure.
picker there or something. So
Yeah.
I never
But
feel
it's
like they're
but
putting anyone
it's
in danger, right?
but or yeah, it's like, how much is scaring someone like actually like, that bad, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the line there. But yeah, no, it is also interesting. Like something I think a lot about with it is just the kind of dox, like you said, like I think the internet ruins these kind of things. The
Hmm.
the doxing capability of these kinds of situations where I don't
Right.
know, like
Someone watches this
yeah.
movie and they go, I know which I'm gonna find the Home Depot equivalent in Toronto, and I'm gonna find that exact guy because he said he's a libertarian, and I think it'd be really funny to go hunt him down and didn't post his entire full name on the internet. Like that is not
And
most
it's
people who watch this movie aren't gonna do that, but like three people
yeah.
are, and
And
they're the
it
worst people, and they ruin the
and
fun
it
for everybody.
takes three people, yeah. And it's like, or even stuff like something that happened to me, like if you I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this actually, but I went to a pride parade
Mm-hmm.
like a, years before I came out with
Mm-hmm.
some friends, and I was like photographed by like someone who was just like taking pictures of like people at the pride parade, and I was put like on his kind of like public Instagram of like talking about
Mm-hmm.
like our city's pride or whatever. And I remember like I think that really like was another thing that kind of shell shocked me of like, oh god, like and like he was like kind of about like a request and he like took it down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it made me a lot more sensitive to these public photo type of things. Nowadays,
Right.
obviously, I would not care about being photographed at like a pride parade, for example. But like, I've also, that was also probably me not having a lot of awareness as like a younger person, that
Hmm.
these kind of events are like photographed. Like now I go to them regularly, and I'm like, I'm aware that I'm walking in a parade. I'm probably gonna be photographed. That I wasn't even at a parade. I was just like walking around, fucking whatever,
Right.
like Google with a rainbow flag, and Home Depot with a rainbow flag,
Sure.
booths. But yeah, like that kind of thing has made me more sensitive to it. And I think about like the there's the Coldplay couple that was like the news thing or whatever, where it's kind of like
Yes.
that, like it's not good that they're cheating, sure, but like it also just so there's
Someone
times where I
someone gets
saw,
thrown onto
yeah,
like the internet altar like every week and
yeah,
like stabbed to death, and we all just kind of accept it and go, I would hate to be that person. It
yeah, and it's you see like a random person's face in like one shot where they're just kind of like looking on in reaction, and I'm almost I there's a part of me that is always like, oh god, they're like, that guy's wife is going to be like, why were you in Toronto, or like, you know what I mean?
mhm.
Like it's going
It
to unveil like a whole thing. So but I don't
you,
know, how
you
to,
know this
yeah,
about me, that I used to work for like a newspaper, right? And like we had trainings,
yes,
and we had to like, as a photographer, you have to like go and get everyone's name and say, hey, this is going to be this is going to be where this is, and let me get
yeah,
some background information. And those are like journalistic standards that like you're upheld to if you're working at like a journalism institution. but
yeah,
but everyone on earth is otherwise operating under like paparazzi laws, which is like, yeah, it's legal, we're on a sidewalk, I can take your photo and do whatever. But
yeah,
it's not necessarily malicious, but it can.
mm,
In general, the internet has changed, yeah, how you interact in a public space, and I think it is kind of for the bummer, like for the worse, because there's an expectation that you have less privacy, that you have less ability to be, especially for children. Like, I feel bad for like kids and teenagers and what have you, that you can't
mm,
just go and be silly and make mistakes because you can get photographed
yeah.
or end up in Nirvana the band, the movie.
That's
um
actually interesting. Did you notice any children in the movie? I
no, and
cannot
I imagine they
picture.
shot around it, and I think there are some.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know
that's
how it
very
works in
responsible.
Canada, but in the US there are usually like laws. It goes vary state by state, but there are laws
Yeah.
about taking photos of kids and taking
Okay.
videos of kids, and I think it's more strict. It's been a while since I've been in my like journalism ethics,
Yeah.
classes and trainings, but it at my old publication we did not take photos of kids unless it was a kids specific like event, and then we had to get parent permission and this and that. Like, it's a
Right.
whole extra layer of complication. So yeah, I assume they shot
Yeah.
around it. This feels like a movie that was made in the edit, and I think that like what they
Mm.
did with editing in general, with like the man on the street stuff, is incredible, but then also with
Mm.
the timing, the crash zooms, which I think sometimes are actually being done like in person, and I think other times are done digitally and then like
Yeah.
trickeried. But the timing, like like the moment with the raccoon with the music swells, like that's all saved in the edit, and it's just so hysterical. But also like the tricks are so obvious, and that's what almost makes it more fun. Like, you can feel
Mm.
the person behind the keyboard going like, we got it, or that's going to be really funny, or like, yes,
Yes.
nailed it, like we caught this little moment in like 3 days of running around in Toronto. It's very charming.
It's it is ironically, the movie showcases in its strength the exact opposite of the main character's major flaw, which is that he's
Yes.
like overthinking everything and doing everything in a roundabout, stupid way, rather than just like, feeling the vibe and doing what,
Hmm.
like this movie is like very like simple and good and just straight down the middle, and like, and this is funny because it's funny. Like
And
I
hysterical. Yeah.
yelling Obama, that's funny. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
ABC song where he's doing like a Fat Albert voice for some reason. And he just goes like, and it's really weird because then they're always hiding this, and then they get off of it, but he's like about to have some crazy theory about school special songs, and it's like, what was he gonna say
yeah.
there? Um,
I wrote down a lot of lines. I
mhm.
think probably probably my favorite is just a cut to a shot, the text 2:11 a.m. and saying "Green corn, you son of a bitch."
It
Like the
felt that in terms of the using the 2008 nostalgia or maybe anti-nostalgia cringe, right? Like
yeah.
I think back to like Smosh, right? I was never big into Smosh, but
Mm,
like they were obviously like the biggest
yeah.
thing since sliced bread. And like it's like
Right.
if you go back and watch a Smosh video from 2008 or an Epic Rap Battles of History or something like that, it's like, wow,
Which I do a lot, but yes, anyway.
this is bad. But it's
Mm,
charming and like it's like this is what comedy was then, or this is what kid content on the internet was, or teenage content. And but so seeing them in the closet having to listen to their own bits and knowing as like creators, right, that like listening to yourself is like the worst thing ever. He has the thing where he's like, I hope they find me. I'm just gonna I'm gonna punch myself in the face. Like I just like they're getting so annoyed being stuck listening to themselves re-record comedy sketches for like 5 hours. It's great.
extremely funny, and I love that that is like clearly starts to feel like part of the character arc of him,
Mm.
of
Growing
Matt
up.
starting to be like, oh, like I've been doing the exact same thing for 17 years and I'm stupid type of realization.
Right. Just as Jay is having the
Extremely
opposite
funny.
reaction, which is like, oh, we've been friends this whole time and it's a good thing actually.
Oh yeah, no, it's really really sweet. Um, there was another no, other notable Smash Zoom I had was the directed by Takeshi Koike. Smash Zoom was to the drums when he walks in the house, like after the time has been altered.
And the
He just
keyboard's
like
gone.
walks in and the keyboard's gone and just the Smash Zoom on the drums, like without that part doesn't have any like specific musical emphasis or him even
Mm.
commenting on the drums. Like he just goes and like sits down on there and starts playing them. But like it's like that is to the audience like a reveal of like it's the drums, like they talked about, like he's become part of a
Right.
ska band, like exactly like he feared.
Well, I love
Is
that
really really
like
funny.
they managed to like pull from almost nothing. Like I don't want bad talk like Nirvana the band the show or whatever, but like this is an
Yeah,
obscure web series without that big of a following, but they
yeah,
managed to like rip lore out of it, like an iconography, like the jumping way ahead, the final time travel scene, right? And you have the
right.
hat fluttering in the wind as Matt Johnson has been vaporized, and it's like it's weird how effective it is for a thing that's called Nirvana the band to have its own lore and its own images and symbols, and to where, and I think it does a good job because you and I are coming into this mostly blind. You feel it, right? Like you feel like, oh, we lost the Jay and Matt thing as the time
Mm,
travel shenanigans start to ruin their lives.
yeah. No, absolutely. It's really impressive. And the fact that yeah, it's like all being explained to you throughout this movie. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not a we watched Scott Pilgrim Takes Off last week, and we had like a bit of a debate of like how accessible is this to like a new viewer. This absolutely held your hand the whole way, and made it very easy to understand the relevance of all these
Mm-hmm.
different things to their lives. And made you feel it. The hat shot was really great. Um,
The magic trick
uh,
of using their old footage of like them
yes,
talking about like that guy kind of looks like me. Yeah, that guy looks like me too. Or you think that guy looks like me? That is just like archive footage they had that wasn't about like it wasn't
wow,
they didn't have a 20-year plan to make this movie, right? They just happened to
of
like
course,
find them riffing on in Toronto at the age they needed to be for the movie to work. And they said like I listened to a Matt Johnson interview and they were like, "Oh my god, we have it. Like we can use this." like
so
and
good.
it's simple tricks, but it's done so well, and like the filming style is low rent enough that you can really hide some stuff here and there in terms of like making the
Yes.
effects work. The stuff where they're in the closet and they're listening to their old selves, or they're like interacting with their old selves, and they just do simple things like have him have his hat over his face, or I don't know how they did the Jay McCarroll like sleeping and getting woken up and then talking and then going back to sleep. Like I think that was just another sketch that
It
they didn't like
seems like
recut.
Yeah, it seems like a sketch or like something they didn't use or something like that.
Hmm.
Like it really does fit because the way he's like, his face is like he's like smiling a lot. Like it is
Right,
very like old YouTube. Like this is me performing. I'm about to say something funny.
right.
Um.
But it really
Yeah.
works, and it's like, yeah, it's just so charming.
It is really fire. Yeah, that was something that like early into it, I was kind of like really trying to figure out like, is this like how is this like did they do the de-aging CGI bullshit to them or they everyone was like no cuz I think like yeah, I don't know, but it was
My
really when that
understanding,
clicked, it was really
there
cool.
Matt Johnson's a little vague about this in like some of the stuff
Mhm.
I've listened to, but and I think it's an effort to, going back to magic, like to kind of not reveal all your secrets. But
Yeah.
other than the stuff that's really obviously CGI, I think mostly it's just like tricks in the editing room. Um,
Mm.
like he mentions like one of the hardest things to film in this was not, them jumping off the tower and parachuting, but it was talking to the Brazilian girl and getting a reaction twice because they were using a non-actor who was not part of this production, but they had to have that same conversation like 3 times because of all the time travel. And so
Mm.
finding someone who would like play along long enough, and like that ended up being like the most complex part of the whole thing, was to recreate
Wow.
their ascent up the tower for a second time.
Wow, that is so interesting. I was like, one of my questions I had when I was watching it was like, how many of the people are like extras,
Actors.
like hired extras, you know? It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like barely any outside the only scenes that stood out to me were like the, he's getting mobbed for autographs and as a security
Right.
guard, and then there's the part where he's in the
The RV with
like
the
trailer
or the yeah, the
RV and he
trailer.
shoots a guy.
Yes.
Where it's
Yeah, like
like
Jay
that.
McCarroll's like
Yeah.
entourage are obviously actors, and then also the Jay
Right.
McCarroll cover band. It's like
Oh my
it's like
god.
they split me into 3 people, and one of them is Chinese. Is that like my empathetic side? Like just unbelievable, and also walking like right up to the line of being offensive, and it's like, oh, it's so good. Um,
The part where the two white guys are going like his dad is Asian and his mom is white and both of my parents are Chinese. You're like, what?
well,
It's really
forcing Matt to experience his own crazy plan stuff like is just so
mm.
perfect. Where he's like, this is how it always is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, so like there's parts that are obviously actors,
But I think
or like
beyond those
yeah.
couple of exceptions, everyone else is just like a person like walking around Toronto.
Mm.
Like the Brazilian girl is not a cast member. The guy, the libertarian hardware store guy, is not. The like random homeless person who keeps like interjecting as they're walking down the street is not. Like all that is real, as is the people
Mm.
working at the tower who let them get their clippers in and let them like sneak their camera in. Like all that was
Whoa.
mostly
Is that
real.
did they
What's that?
really okay,
They did
let's
really
talk about
break into the tower. I don't know if they really cut the cords or not. That's the only part I don't know. Obviously, they didn't
yeah.
actually jump off the tower.
But I mean, that was I think up until that I was like, is this 100% candid camera footage?
Hmm.
Because the I think it's the only face that's like blurred in the thing is like the security guard when they're going into the tower.
Right.
Um, so at that point, I was like, okay, is this an entirely like candid camera movie and it's like a Borat type of thing? And then when they fly off the thing, it's like, oh, okay, like obviously they're editing things. And then I went through a phase of being like, is it
Did they
all
jump off the
extras?
tower?
And I'm like, is any of this um like being filmed candidly? Is it all fake? But then I kept remembering the blurred face of the security guard. I'm like, okay, at
Right.
least that would be a weird thing. Like you would
I think
hire them. Yeah.
I think the quote was like, "Everything until we jump is real." Is like so like getting
Whoa.
and the most difficult part of this wasn't getting in; it was getting the footage out. So like I think they got in trouble, and they did really like sneak the camera in on and have it like sit perfectly on the conveyor belt. Like all that was like happy accidents, and pulling off what sounds like a very, very complicated day in the lives of this like mini gorilla crew, right?
Wow. That is
Pretty awesome.
crazy.
It's pretty incredible.
That I feel really anxious, even though this is an event that has already finished happening and it has nothing to do with me. Like, I feel like goosebumps. One time, I think you were there. There was one time where we went to like our neighborhood pool, and like one of our friends brought a bunch of sodas in a cooler, and they were
Hmm.
like, "Go bring in the sodas in the cooler and don't draw any attention." And I put on a pair of sunglasses and I walked past the front desk like this. And they were like, "Hey," and I got caught. And they were like, "Don't bring in the sodas." I don't think
You're not my first choice for like a gorilla heist filming
for a
shoot.
heist.
Not
It makes
not.
me want to throw up, man. I'm
Yeah, I
like, oh
know.
my.
It
This is really funny.
My favorite version of this I learned this morning, which is where Jay has shot his like producer or whatever on
Mm,
accident, and he's like running away from a bunch of police. So
yeah.
they did do that. The way they did that, I mean, the shooting obviously is like CGI, but him running away from police and being like freaked out. Let me take you back to 2024. The rapper Kendrick Lamar eviscerated the rapper Drake, Canadian Drake, in a rat beef that I think everyone on planet Earth knows about.
Yeah.
During that time, there was a shooting at Drake's house in Toronto, which they also imply is Jay McCarroll's house in this movie, which is really funny. Um,
Oh,
they
I
heard
see.
about the shooting as they were making this movie, and they essentially like ran over there and then just shot Jay running away as like this actual police presence for that shooting is happening in the background. And
Oh.
that is ethically a little questionable, but also incredible because of how ridiculous the actual event is of like the Drake Kendrick stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I would necessarily do that, but I appreciate knowing that because it's really funny trivia.
That is crazy stuff. Yeah. Man, wait, okay. Do you know about like the mansion that he's trying to get into that has the initials like on it?
I think that's Drake's mansion.
Why does it have a J on the
I think they maybe
that's
did some trickery there.
okay. I
I
see.
think.
Dude,
I don't know for
computers are
sure.
crazy these days,
Computers are
man.
crazy. Um,
Yeah. I also have to say I really enjoyed the plot point of if you the only way to make the time machine work is by
is
pouring
orbits.
orbits on it, and then if and then the reason why that worked is because it's lightning in a bottle,
Hmm.
which means that lightning does the same thing, and it just is Back to the Future. It's not kind of Back to the Future. It's
The hardest I
really,
laugh in the
really.
entire movie is when they're
Mm,
going through that explanation and they're trying to come up with a way to return to the present. And he's like, yeah, and then the music swells and they start playing the actual Back to the Future score. And Matt Johnson just completely breaks and he goes, this is going to be a copywriting nightmare. Like, if you're seeing this in a theater right now, like, you thank your lucky stars. I laughed so fucking hard, as did the
it's
entire
good.
theater when I was like watching this in a movie theater. And I was like, it is insane that this is happening right now. They didn't get permission. It is all like under fair use, like nonsense. Like, they managed to like somehow just redo Back to the Future, which is an older movie, but not like in the public domain. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
the the heist of the century, man.
Yes, the
I
heist of stealing a movie's plot.
I really admire that a lot.
Hmm. I do
I
too.
have very I've come fully like I think the phase of like where I'm at on my opinions on art and ownership and all this kind of stuff at this point, I'm like let, let it ride, baby. I'm like I feel like we just need to let it all be free and let it out, and I love this. I love
I look
everything
forward
about
to
it.
your Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I'm looking forward to your interpretation of that.
I think I don't know. I love like I'm writing something right
Hmm.
now privately, and I've been like loading it with like like I'll put different references in it, not
Hmm.
in a way to be like, huh, you guys like this too, right? But in a way to be like era specific, and also to just write it naturalistically, like this is what I would say in this situation, or this was what I would think of in this situation.
Right.
um and I have this thing where it's like, okay, every single reference I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reach a certain point in the creative process with this where I'm gonna have to make a decision of like, okay, do I change Home Depot to home repair store? Do I
Right.
change like, you know what I mean? And I have I have a feeling internally where I'm like, I just wanna put everything directly in there and not,
I'm
not
always
censor myself.
charmed when people make that decision. When they go
Yeah.
like, "It's a Coke." You know it's Coke.
Yeah, like, what are we playing with? Like, this is Coke, and I'm like, obviously this is like an independent passion project, right? So it's like, I think this movie is really like encouraging you to be like, yeah, just call it Coke. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and I love that. I really really admire that. I think it's very fun. I think that, yeah, we need to get away from like, oh, you're copying this, you're copying that. It's like more movies need to just like, be like, here's two different guys doing Back to the Future
Well, and
instead.
it's thematically relevant, right? Not thematically, that's a little bit too extreme.
Mm,
It's relevant, it's character building because Matt Johnson is playing a guy who's like stuck in the 90s or stuck, is
mm,
stuck in like his childhood. So, of course, he's obsessed with like the best movie he ever saw is the movie he saw at 10 years old, right? Is like a Back to the Future.
yes.
And so it of course that's where his mind would go because he is uncreative and dumb as a character,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, definitely. It's really, really good. And it's also, it also just works so good. To me, the comedy of like, I, I can't get a show at this one venue that I've been trying to for 17 years, but I
Mhm.
can invent a time machine is just
Yes.
really, really,
Very
it's
solid.
like, uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm very invested. Yeah, even down to I'm not even addressing the elephant in the room, which is the title of the thing is Nirvana the band. The show, like calling a
Yes.
band Nirvana the band, and in
So
the
I was wrong last
original,
week. I was
yeah,
wrong. They never address in the show, which I still haven't watched. I've seen little clips from it.
mm,
They never address that they're named Nirvana. Like after Nirvana smells like they use the song "Smells Like Teen Spirit" in the web series, but they don't. There's a bit at one point. This I'm gonna spoil a bit that I haven't actually seen, but I've read about that is
mm,
hysterical and just like the idea of
yeah,
it's funny. At some point, they get a cease and desist for calling themselves Nirvana the band because they used like roughly 50% of another band's title, not Nirvana, the band. So they're cease and desisted by the band, not Nirvana. It's so
oh man.
stupid.
It's good. I really love it. Yeah, calling your band the Nirvana the band. It's just it's everything that is making this show great. It's that like
Hmm.
we're just being direct and to the punch with our references. We don't have to censor ourselves despite
Right.
these like weird copyright laws and
M-
corporate owned media web that
much
we have
like
to navigate,
much like
and we're
Mr. Boop
also,
that we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
covered, like Mr. Boop. It's like from minute one you know what the deal is, and the deal is like thumbing your nose at much bigger entities.
Absolutely. So it's like very much in that and in spirit of the whole thing, and it is also like telling you who the characters are, which is coattail riders, is
Hmm.
really really funny. Um, I love this so much. I want to a couple highlights. The whole set of scenes where they're like cutting with a bunch of different like where he
Oh, the
becomes
Jay McCarroll
famous,
like famous. Yes.
and they do the Google's like questions thing. They do the
Yes.
carpool karaoke. Will Smith goes to function.
He does the like Chris Rock uncomfortable smile so well in that. It's so perfect. The one that got me was the Ellen one where it's like, yeah, I'm not afraid of clowns. I'm not, yeah, like, and you know what's coming.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, and of course the Anthony Fantano cameo I think is very well timed.
Mm, yeah, no, really, really good. Um, the music is good in the movie as
The
well.
pop
I
song
liked
they
it.
come up with is pretty good. It sounds like
Yeah,
a song that would have taken off.
absolutely. Pop songs that the like random background music that's being thrown in everywhere. Like I was getting it. There's music that plays at the end that like it made me emotional at the end. I was
It
like, oh
got me a
wow,
little
like
bit.
they
The da
they
da da
tied it
da
up.
da da
Yeah,
da. Yeah, that little song. That yeah, it's just good.
really, really, really good. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot, Sam.
Did you?
Now
I couldn't tell.
I I do have a question.
Okay.
What if they put pirates in it? Do you think would happen?
It feels like something where they wouldn't put pirates in it, but they'd randomly like go into like a diatribe about like Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Like it would be
Hmm.
a throwaway where like even though neither of them drink, one of them would be like, "Oh, where's the rum gone? Isn't that haha? You get the joke." And it'd be an awkward delivery, and Matt Johnson would give that goofy smile, that damn smile, and I think that would be appropriate. Johnny Depp humor feels like it could be mined, about how much of a
Mm.
weird person he is in real life.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like I feel like the public opinion on Johnny Depp hasn't. I don't know because I feel like
This is what we
I'm
should be
over
getting
here and
into 50 minutes into the podcast.
I feel like I'm in woke land, so I know
Hmm.
all the truth and everything about Amber Heard, and I'm sure you're there too. I feel like I'm like, does putting Johnny Depp's face on a thing have the same impact as like a Well, obviously Bill Cosby did like a lot more worse
I'm not
stuff.
going
I'm
to
pretty
sit
sure.
here and say that it's as bad as Bill Cosby, but it's someone who we think about a little differently than we did 15 to 20
I
years
see.
ago. That's more what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
getting
I'm
at.
like, would you have the same impact of putting Johnny Depp in this as a reference in
I
2008
here's the joke. Here we're
as the other
workshopping it
stuff?
here. Here's the joke.
Okay,
It's like
we're writing a new
for
pirate
some
joke for.
reason in the Matt and in the Matt and Jay like back and forth he like they start talking about Pirates of the Caribbean and then like Matt just goes like, "Yeah, why didn't they make a fourth one of those?" And the joke being A, they did, and B, it's because of Johnny Depp. But like it would be something like that. That's how you get pirates in there.
I see. That's a pretty good way to get pirates in. Do you think that it would have been good if they had a part? I kind of was thinking part of it was going to be they start like jumping around all sorts of different times to
Hmm.
like test it at a certain part, but
Well,
pretty
they
immediately it's like no, it's broken and we have to get more orbits or whatever.
they do sneak in
Um,
a "I'm gonna show you something crazy" and he puts in 9/11, which is just a throwaway joke, but it's so
Does he
fucking
say?
good.
I saw the like 2001. Does he say I'm gonna show you something crazy?
It's something like "I'm gonna blow your mind" or something along those lines, and it's so fucking funny. It's like, why would that be the first thing you think to go to? Not "I'm gonna stop it." We're gonna go watch
Just
something
because he wants
wild.
to prove that it's
Yeah,
like real. He's like, fuck.
unbelievable.
It's really good. It's really good. It's really good
Hmm.
when every time they time travel, they're gonna crash into the same bus again and again and
Yeah.
again. Um, really, really enjoyed it. Good
Are
movie.
you good movie? Are you ready to rank it on a scale of S to F, but with
I am
emojis
ready to
and
rank it,
names that I
Sam.
can't remember and you can't remember, even though you came up with them?
I'm so ready to accurately name my categories for this year, Sam. Um, I think that this is solid Angel. I think that there's stuff I need to move down. There's like one thing that I need to move down specifically, but I think that this is in the Angel zone because it's really good and I really enjoyed it and I really liked it and it was really funny, and that's my feeling on it. And that was boring, and I feel like I normally do more of a reveal or yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Normally I'm like debating which
Uh
rank I'm
huh.
gonna put it in,
This is a
and
solid
I
angel.
this is such an angelic movie that there was no conversation to be had.
What
So
is
it's
There's no rules here, right? What do you want to move down from Angel out of curiosity?
uh kind of bugle call because I think because
You
you
put Bucol in
said
S, didn't you?
yeah, I want to move it to Angel
I
because
see.
there was I was rewatching an episode of the Nobody Leaves podcast randomly
Why would you do
the other
that?
day. Crazily enough, I was rewatching our like retiering thing,
Hmm.
and you're talking about how the S rank needs to be like, these are all timers, like best things, like always go back to, and I'm like, I think I need to be more in the spirit of that, of like, this is not just like and flawless. This is like, I'm in love with this, and I need to, so
The phrase I use a lot is definitive Sam texts.
yes,
I
yes, yes, yes.
I think I need to be more like you and be a little bit more freewheeling with it because it's stupid to have a tier that I never use, even though I've used it this year already. Um, I think about it a lot with letterbox reviews, where like I never give anything 5 stars, and that's stupid. Like
Mm,
it's like,
mm.
who am I performing for? What does it matter? But it is in my mind, like with letterbox and with movie reviews, it's like there's not a 5 star movie every year. Is something douchey that I
Mm.
have said and kind of believe, but also there's not a like movie that like defines me or like is like a piece of media that like I uphold on a pedestal every year. And that's true for
Yeah.
2025 that we just lived through, right? Like
Not
I really
everything
like
makes the shelf.
exactly. I really like It Was Just an Accident. I really like Sinners. They're not like Sam's top 10 movies of all time, right? If a top 10
Mm.
movie of all time came out every year, my oldest movie that I love would be a 2016 movie, and that's not the case. So
Mm.
that's why I'm always so meh about it. But I think it's not. I think it's not fun. You know, some things are. If you gave Nirvana the band the show 5 stars and a like S tier, I could feel that. It's the funniest movie I've seen this year easily.
It's very funny. It
It's
is really funny.
hysterical. I did just watch
um
the drama, and that might be an episode later because the drama is
I,
something. Um,
yeah, I think it's I think I'm trying to be a little bit more sure, because I do think when you're talking about like the 5 stars of like, why do I,
mhm.
I could probably be more lenient. Like, I do think the fact that it's S, like if we topped at A tier, then I might feel a
Mhm.
little bit more bad. The S is beyond A, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So then you're like, oh, I should make this a little bit more special. And there's been so much good stuff this year already. So I'm like, yeah.
Well, you gave Bugle Call an S, right, Trap Queen, and then the next week I made you watch or read YKK, and then that was like, no, this is actually an S.
Yeah, that like rebooted my brain. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect."
That's fair.
um,
It is pretty perfect. It's right.
yeah,
It's up there somewhere. Um,
definitely.
well,
Um,
Mallory, what are you gonna make me read, watch, listen, play, experience, dance around about? I've been given the hand. I am waiting
God,
with
I forgot.
anticipation.
I forgot what I was gonna do. So
You
I'm just
forgot what you were gonna do. This a bit. This is like a Matt Johnson and JB Carroll like special, right?
I'm doing like a hilarious bit where like, what if I forgot which one I was gonna pitch to you? I think that um we should do Beastars season 4, because we did this whole thing where we did Beastars season 3, and like it was like the perfect timing before like the final season was going to come out. And I haven't watched the final season, and I'm not going to watch it until I do it on this podcast. And I just want to get through it. And
I
we
like
gotta, yeah,
all the things that are multi seasons that you've like put us through are things that you don't really like. Like I like that you're like, yeah, Heartstopper's the first season's the best season, and then it kind of falls apart, and then Beastars, I really like this first 12 episodes. Let's watch 60 more. It's interesting. It's an interesting
it's.
strategy.
I think the idea when I pitched the first seasons of those shows was I want someone who likes this in the same way that I do to be able to complain about the later seasons and where they misstepped. But
Hmm.
instead, I think we were probably closer on Beastars than we were on Heartstopper, but like
Yes.
we did have like different opinions and readings and takes about it that made that just branch further and further apart as we go
Well,
along.
I've
So
noticed that
that's just this
Heartstopper season
weird,
3 has not been pitched. I think that is telling.
yeah. I thought about it. Alice Oseman just posted the like thing of like they put up the like last panel of the Heartstopper webcomic. That it
Hmm.
hasn't been released in like book form yet, but like the final book has
Hmm.
just come out. So I'm like, Movies around the corner, baby. Like, so
Can't wait.
it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming down the pipeline. But
So
yeah,
we're talking about Beastars, season 3, the
yes.
final part, part
The
2.
last time I get to wear rabbit ears on this podcast.
I don't think that's true, but we'll see.
Well, life finds a way.
When we do the Watership Down episode, you've got to wear rabbit ears. All right, well that's been another week, another podcast in the can, another metatextual musing on Toronto. I had a fun time. I hope you did as well.
I enjoyed my time here, Sam. I'm glad that we watched this movie together. It was good. And I'm glad I paid like $15 to fucking rent it. But it was good. It was a good movie. It was worth it. I'm glad we support small artists who made the Blackberry movie.
Yep. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. He's making a Anthony Bourdain movie, and it's like my most anticipated movie of the year now. He's doing like a weird biopic thing with Dominic Sessa. Can't wait. Anyway, we'll talk about that in 2027. That's it. The show's over. Have a good evening.
Have a great day, Sam.